Hello guys, this is Mapper and in this video I will tell you about the 5 longest wars in history. At number 5. The War of the Roses. Length, 30 years from 1455 till 1585. This war for the right to the English throne was fought by supporters of two royal houses, the House of Lancaster, whose heraldic symbol was a red rose, and the House of York, whose symbol was a white rose, hence this war's name. At number 4. The 30 Years' War. Length, 30 years from 1618 till 1648. On May 23, 1618, a crowd of angry Protestants stormed the royal castle in the city of Prague, in the Kingdom of Bohemia, and threw 3 members of the newly appointed Catholic government out of a castle window. All 3 somehow survived the 70-foot plunge. That event, known as the Defenestration of Prague, ignited Protestant rebellions all across the region. That eventually escalated into an all-out, and incredibly destructive, war between the great powers of Europe. The main belligerents, the powerful Holy Roman Empire, comprising all of the German states and several neighboring regions, allied with the Spanish Empire against France, Sweden, and Denmark. The losers, the Holy Roman Empire and Spain, both of which lost huge amounts of territory and influence. The big winners, France and Sweden, which emerged as major powers, although Sweden was unable to sustain that position for very long. At number 3. Guatemala Civil War. Length, 36 years. From 1960 till 1996. In 1954 a right-wing army colonel, Carlos Castillo Armas, led a successful coup d'état against the democratically elected leftist government of Guatemala. The coup was engineered by the U.S. State Department and the CIA. In 1960 a group of left-wing army officers led a coup of their own, but failed to take power. What followed was 36 years of war between the Guatemalan military, which eventually took control of the country, and various leftist guerrilla groups. Fighting didn't stop until 1996, with the signing of a peace treaty between the rebel groups and the government. Concessions were made on both sides, but it was largely deemed a win for the rebel groups. At number 2. The Greco-Persian Wars. Length, 50 years. From 499 till 449 BC. This was actually 3 conflicts, fought over a period of 50 years, that historians bundle into one major war. The fighting was between a coalition of several ancient Greek city-states led primarily by Athens and Sparta, and the Persian Empire, at the time the largest and most powerful empire on earth. The war began with a series of revolts by Greeks in territories that the Persians had conquered decades earlier, followed by full-scale invasion attempts by the Persians, and counterattacks by the Greeks, all with varying degrees of success and failure. Finally, after 50 years, the winner, the Greeks, who successfully repelled the Persians and won back their territories. At number 1. The 100 Years' War. Length, 116 years from 1337 till 1453. Fought primarily between England and France, the 100 Years' War is usually divided into 3 main component wars, one of which raged for 38 years, the Lancastrian War, 1415–1453. The fight was over English-controlled territory in France and control of the French throne. The rulers of England and France had been related for centuries, so the English claim to the French throne actually had some merit. The war ended with the surrender of the English in 1453, after more than a century of bloodshed. The winners, the French, who took back almost all of England's holdings in France, beginning a long era during which England was left mostly isolated from European affairs. This is all for today.